Welcome back to Oakville in the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, where the President's Cup in 2023 is being played. This is day 3. This is game 3. This is also Jake Elliott, and Pat Gregoire is beside me for this one as the defending champion Ladner Pioneers. 2-0 so far this week will take on the 1-2 Six Nations Rivermen. Pioneers will wear their blacks, Rivermen in their whites. And Patty, 2 games down here on day 3, 2 to go, and things starting to take shape here at the President's Cup.
And I think we might, I don't want to say, actually there's a good chance we'll either get a real clear picture or that picture is going to be as clear as mud, because on one side, Six Nations desperately need a win to stay on track to try to get one of those top 4 seeds. On the flip side, the Pios, they want to stay unbeaten and continue etching their way to the top of the standings.
Pios will work left to right, and Rivermen, sorry, I'm not supposed to call them Pios, just Pie Ball or Pioneers. I got a little trouble yesterday calling them the Pios for some reason.
All right, noted.
Yeah,
Pie Ball.
So Six Nations goal scoring, I think, has been the bugaboo here a little bit. They won their opener against Oakville, who has looked much better in their last 2 outings, 5-4 in that game. Followed up by an 8-6 loss and then a 7-5 loss to Snake Island and Edmonton, respectively. But here against the Ladner Pioneers, you're going to need, I want to say, at least 10 to give yourself a chance.
At least 10, just based off the way some of their sharpshooters have been shooting the ball. But for Six Nations, you nailed it. Goal scoring has been coming at a premium for them. It's been really tough to come by. That guy right there, Lane Smith, someone who's going to need to heat up.
He's led the Rivermen in scoring so far, has Lane Smith with 3 goals and 3 assists. The leading scorer of Ladner is Ryan Benesh with 5 goals and 9 assists, coming off an 11-point effort for the future Hall of Famer.
Didn't score a goal until the 3rd period and still managed to just fill the score sheet.
Well, Ladner, 10-9 over Edmonton is maybe a game that, quite frankly, they probably should have lost, as a late comeback gets the win for them. But then out against the Edmonton Miners, and they just ran over them with a Mack truck. 17-9 the final in that one. So that's kind of why I put the number at 10 here. They've allowed 9 in each of their outings. And if you want to try and beat Ladner, you got to get to at least 10, I figure. Whitlow on a toe drag will shovel back here to Hill. He'll try and get around Matt Beers, and that shot will go wide of the target. And roll here for Jake Doucette, who's looking to jump on it. But the shot clock will expire before that happens, as we're just after 5 o'clock Eastern time here in Oakville. And one more game to come on day 3 as well, and it's a good one on deck. 2-2-1 teams, as Oakville will play their 2nd game of the day. As look at that move from Tyler Pace. And then shot it wide as Dustin Hill gets the start once again here for Six Nations, as now Phil Caputo is on the scene, and it's 1-0 Pioneers. Did not play in their last game, but Phil Caputo, as Austin Schenk said, lineup. Caputo comes in. Mike Mallory draws in as well.
The depth on this team is just absolutely ridiculous. Look at Phil the Thrill Caputo. There's about 1 billion fakes, puts it through the wickets. A nice finish. It is crazy how many options this Pioneers team has on offense.
As ball loose and scooped up here by the Rivermen, and David Brock taking the face-off. He'll come down the middle, and he'll bounce one high over top of the goal as he had Delbianco down. But missed the target. But the possession saved here for Six Nations, as we're 2.5 minutes in. Brock wearing 50 here for Six Nations.
Tough.
Goddard had his shot blocked by Doucette. And the shot clock will expire here on Six Nations. There's Nick Jensen, who draws back into the lineup here for the Pioneers today as well. Pioneers lead at 1-0 on the goal from Phil Caputo. And here's Ryan Benesh with a lane. He'll tuck, he'll drive, he'll float one, and Dustin Hill will flex up a shoulder to make a stop.
I think that man right there in between the pipes is pivotal that he comes out with. I don't know if he's going to be able to replicate what he did in Game 1, but he's going to have a much better effort than what happened in Game 2.
There's some heavy contact inside the dotted circle here as guys getting after it early in this game. Claire will go down. As he thought it was his ball, it is not, as Whitlow will restart the offense. And we'll see how this thing plays out. I think we're in for a real physical affair here between Six Nations and Ladner today. And Claire with a little payback, and then an extra shot from Barker on Rivera, the youngster, who will not be intimidated or deterred as he goes right back at Barker here.
Oh, he's absolutely fearless.
And Barker will give him another. And then over comes Kranz to send a message. And we got a penalty call coming here to Ladner. And sometimes, as we'll run out this shot clock here, I've still got 15 seconds there before I'll get to my diatribe, I suppose. As Goddard from the point tried to feed into the slot. Zabo was there for the clamp. And we've seen a lot of extracurricular stuff. It's been particular over the last few games as teams jockey for positions here. But I honestly feel like sometimes a game like this just needs two guys to step back, shed the gear, get after it, and then play lacrosse.
Well, we saw...
Because the stick's coming up and the swinging off the ball and all the rest of it, like somebody's going to get hurt that way. And I think sometimes if a good old-fashioned Tilly goes down early in a game, the boys will just settle in and play. But it's a power play here for Six Nations. It's a stop for Del Bianco. And look for the outlet to the bench side as pace coming off. We'll have to play it off a bounce. Look out. Head on a swivel there as he felt the man coming off the Rivermen bench. And we'll give it to Jeff Cornwall, sporting some compressions. The white socks on the black compressions, Patty, I might have a bit of an issue with for the corn dog down there, but you don't normally see him go with that here. There's Bromley in the middle. 2 on the shot clock. He'll just roll to the corner.
Maybe there's some turf burns from after a couple of games.
But get some black socks, Jeffrey. That's all I'm saying. Or some ankles, something. I'm sure brother Travis tuned in. He'll have a word with Jeff after the game. Rivera will play the point here for Six Nations. Has a minute to work with here. Now ball picked off. A good move from Mike Mallory. A lead feed for Tyler Pace. Backhand shot right on, and Dusty Hill with a stick save. Tyler Pace second in Ladner scoring with 12 points, 2 behind Benesh coming into this one. As Ladner will play their double dip tomorrow here at the President's Cup. As they still have Tuscarora, Oakville, Snake Island left on their schedule. Another good save for Del Bianco. And if you want to get to Delbs, usually you got to do it early in the game, because if he gets in his groove, it just gets more and more difficult as the game goes along.
Yeah, good luck. When he is dialed in, he is one of the best goalies on the planet for a reason.
Beers and Parker will make the change as Benesh, Ray, Hairwires, Caputo. And late man coming on is Alex Turner. I'm not sure why A. Turns is wearing number 91. 87, I think, is available. And his familiar number, as he did not play yesterday. The former Langley Thunder out there now and with the ball in his pocket. It was Kahnawake in impressive fashion over Tuscarora in the game prior to this, and Oakville maybe even more impressive over the Miners to kick off the day. And we'll see if Six Nations now can respond after looking real good goaltending defensively in their opening game in that 5-4 win over the Ontario champs. And then a couple of tight losses, but that 7-5 score maybe a little misleading against Edmonton, who held them scoreless for 42 minutes of that lacrosse game before they managed to get 5 in the final 18. And made it a respectable scoreline, but it was 6-0, and it just kind of felt over from that point. Caputo can't get by on the swim. Ray will send it wide here for Hairwires, who took a hard shot from Brock. Still lots of time on the shot clock as Caputo will run it down out near center with 12. Hairwires on an inside roll, shovel feed, help comes down to 5 as Hairwires might get a chance off for Ray here, and he'll whistle that one wide. One more bid, and that one came a half a second too late.
Ladner felt like they should have got a reset there. It was close, but it was the right call on the floor.
Another good matchup jersey-wise here at the Prezi, as those Ladner things, they look mean. And always good to see the Rivermen jerseys in the white, red, and black. Well, Rivera tried to spin one over his shoulder blindly to the goal, and that one ends up out of play. Some fans surround the blue rink here at the track to take in the defending champs against the perennial Rivermen. Bromley, long-time Pioneer, to an even longer-time Pioneer in Ryan Keith. He's been a little disappointed in his own game so far in the goal-scoring department, but that's not really what he needs to do to make this Ladner team effective now.
No, use that big frame, free up some space for some of the skilled players.
And the inspirational leader as well, wearing the C on his jersey. Brand new father. I saw Grandma holding the baby outside yesterday.
Awesome.
Has lots of fan support here for the Ladner Pioneers in Oakville. Ryan Benesh weaving in. 10 on the shot clock as he'll back to the boards and give it to Hairwires. And now Tyler Pace. Here comes a slashing call. Here comes Caputo looking for 2. And a holding call will be made. And Ladner with the 1-0 lead will go to the power play here on day 3.
Tom Moxham with the call on the hold.
And, you know, like, I would imagine Six Nations coming into this game will want to assert their physicality here on Ladner, but I really believe that is not the proper approach here against the Pioneers. You are not going to intimidate this team physically with chops and cross checks and slashes. You just have to dial in your game and play your best game of lacrosse you can to try and beat this team. And if you're going to the penalty box, forget it.
It's easier said than done, but I think it's got to be a blend of, you know, playing a clean game, but at the same time,
you want to play hard.
Exactly.
No question about it.
Two-hand tough.
There you go. James Ray on a reach. Dusty Hill looking comfortable to start this one. As we've seen Troy Hollichuk and Dusty Hill throughout their first 3 games here. But I think really if they want to go anywhere in this tournament, they're going to need Dusty Hill to be the guy. As Goddard takes a couple of whacks there from Barker, and then a wrap check. A late shot, and Del Bianco gave up the rebound, but only black jerseys there to secure it. And a high feed from 22 to 2.
Alongside Moxham, we have Herbie John today and Marcus Fisher inside.
Gotten to know Herbie a little bit this week. Good dude. And Marcus I've known for quite some time. I want to say I met Marcus in the infamous 2018 Minto Cup. Jeff Teatgate, you'll remember it. Part of that fiasco. And maybe a little transition might be in order here for the Rivermen today as well to keep pace with this high-powered Ladner offense.
I think we talked about that in the Edmonton game. There just wasn't the push to the net, with the exception of maybe Justin Martin, who
you look
star for this team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the leading scorers here for Six Nations, and their 4th leading scorer is Justin Martin, and that's coming in a transition role.
Yeah,
which kind of tells you like how difficult it has been to get offensive production here from Six Nations so far. Brock out of the penalty box, so he'll play a little Seagull as his good buddy Ryan Benesh picks him up in behind. James Ray will drive it, and he'll bounce it wide. But I think maybe an inadvertent reset on the shot clock here that the Pioneers will take advantage of. Turner. Rink wide for Ray. Back it comes, Hairwires. Loads. And he had Dusty Hill leaning the wrong way, but missed the goal. Quick up. Shot. Del Bianco the stop. Another one comes, and that one over top of the crossbar. There's a couple of good looks there for Corbett, who's been playing both offense and defense here for Six Nations so far.
Yeah, Patty Corbett from just down the road in Burlington. It's another guy, Swiss Army knife, playing both sides of the ball, as you mentioned.
Home of the Minto Cup champion Blaze. There's a nice little video online there of them taking the WestJet flight home to Ontario with Lord Minto in the lap.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Just a 1-0 score here. 7.5 minutes to go here in the first period. Good feed inside to Rivera. And Delbienko, a stick save. And, well, what do we got? The referee will just calm everybody down and separate all parties. And Jacob Doucette.
Mr. Moxham just saying, okay, guys, we're good.
The referees earning their money in this turn, except for the guy that stands in the penalty box. As it's really about game management here for this officiating crew. And by and large, I think a pretty nice job here so far this week in Oakville by all the guys in black. And I'm not talking about the Pioneers. They've had a nice tournament as well.
Not bad.
Here's Claire, 2-on-1 with Benesh. Drop it back to Cornwall. And he'll fire that one wide on the short side. As it'll bounce here for Brock at center. Flipped it blindly over his shoulder, and he was thinking better of that after it was turned over. Hairwires with a little taunting. And what do we got going on at the side of the wall here in the deep corner? There's a couple of players in Benesh and just trying to pick up the number 21.
I think Elvin, Marcus Elvin.
It is indeed.
Spent a decent amount of time this week in that penalty box.
There's our view obstructed from that area on the floor, so I had to peep the monitor there. And not actually Benesh. Bromley, I think, will be the man that will go to the penalty box here. Oh, no, they aren't going to call Benesh. I had it right the first time, Petty.
Don't second guess yourself.
Well, after all the crease calls and no goals that I've gotten wrong here this week, it's hard not to.
So slash and a hold. Benesh going to sit down in the hold, and not before Matt Beers gets an explanation.
And you know Benesh doesn't want to get mixed up in any of that. All he wants to do is score goals.
Can't score a goal from the penalty box, right?
If anyone can.
It'd probably be him. You're right. It's a really in-depth conversation we got going
Beers
here.
and Herbie maybe exchanging email addresses for after the Prezi. And back underway we go. So lots of turf out there now, 4-on-4. As Hairwires will work with Bromley. Ray and Caputo across the way. And it's Hairwires on the drive, called in the crease. Lost his stick in the process, did a 6'8" defender and David Brock.
Hairwires scoring one of the nicest goals we've seen so far in this tournament.
Elijah Brown trying to find a corner over the shoulder. This is Wayne Hill. Gets bodied up there hard by Matt Beers. Pass into the slot, probably should have been caught by Mason Hill, and the possession ends there. Back on comes Bromley. He's out there with Keith, Pace, and Turner now. Turner sets the pick. Bromley turns the corner, and he scores. Didn't get through it cleanly, but it's in the net, and Ladner have their 2-0 lead. Nothing fancy about that.
No, absolutely not. Just coming over the top. And just before that defender comes, the shot's released. And Hill, I don't know if he was screened necessarily or it was just a wrong guess. You could tell the whole way through, really not too sure where that shot was going.
So with 5:28 here to go in this opening period, we remain 4-on-4 for the next 56 seconds as Ladner has doubled their lead here to 2-0. And we talked a little bit about this in the 2 o'clock game, Pat, that we kind of starting to feel like 3 wins will get you into that top 4. 3 losses, you're probably going to be on the outside looking in, which makes this game ever so important for Six Nations. That's not set in stone by any means, but that's kind of the way things are starting to shape up here at the present.
That's what, again, it's cliche. You don't want to say the cliche that it's must win, but it's really,
pretty
really
much
close, as must win as it gets.
So we mentioned Six Nations with Kahnawake and Tuscarora left on their schedule after this one. And Ladner still with Tuscarora, Oakville, Snake Island left on their schedule. And quite potentially, depending on what happens tonight, and the Muskies will have something to say about it. But if Oakville plays like they did in their last 2 games, it's going to be a tough go for Snake Island, but they've been pretty impressive here sitting at 2-1 as well. If Ladner gets by Six Nations here today, it could set up a big 3-1 Oakville against 3-0 Ladner tomorrow night.
I'm really curious to see what we see from Snake Island. It feels like it's been 2 years since we've seen them.
Really? They played half their schedule, half their schedule about 30 hours into the tournament.
I know. Now they have all this time off. Is that time off going to be good? Is it going to allow those guys to rest? Or some of these teams, like the Rock, playing
hitting their rhythm?
Exactly. Something to pay attention to, no doubt.
Good crowd on hand here for this game as well, as both ends starting to fill up, and the stands underneath our location are packed as well here. And Ryan Keith will run over his man here, and he's going to get a penalty. And Herbie's not too happy about it. Emphatic with the call.
Yeah.
And there's another for Ryan Keith. Not taking any guff.
Oh, you could see that from a mile away. Electric tee there, though, from Herbie.
We're going to do it like that.
And
let's just see if we can pick up there. There's a little slash behind the play. Keith will take a run at his man.
Yeah.
He'll get another check from behind. There's the penalty call, and then he gave him a little bit of leash to have a few words, but Ryan Keith taking a little too far and gets rung up with the tee. So it's actually double minor. I thought maybe he might get the misconduct, but instead they ring him up for 4 minutes here.
Those ones sting so much more.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you sit longer in the penalty box, but you don't lose the manpower. But now, and actually, I'll check that because they just put another man in the penalty box here, Pat, so I think he got the double minor and the 10.
Oh, that stings extra.
We'll see as they'll announce it here shortly. But a big opportunity here for Six Nations, trailing by 2. Indeed, it is 4 minutes for a check from behind and a 10-minute misconduct as Goddard denied by Del Bianco. And that's got to be frustrating to get a good look like that and just be stonewalled.
This can really completely change the tide of the game. Pioneers team, obviously great penalty kill, but let's be honest, their best penalty killer, or number 97 sitting in the crease there.
And sometimes he makes the spectacular save look routine. Benesh on the back away, and Hill sliding across, making the stop, as now Hairwire's going to take a penalty himself. And now what do we got? Del Bianco hot about something. As that was happening in behind the play. And Herbie's got his hands full down there. Three Pioneers already in the penalty box. And I'm not sure what Ladner was hot about as the ball went flying down the floor. It's 4 minutes on the back here for Hairwires as well.
Oof.
And that's, of course, Lacrosse Canada rules. That's not even a thing anymore in the modified rules. It's either 2 or it's a 5. There is no 4-minute back check anymore.
Oh, man. Delbianco was...
I think we're getting maybe a delay of game here on Six Nations for throwing the ball straight out of play from their own end. And that's heads up from Delbianco to recognize that's what happened.
I think that's what he was trying to get, because clearly, obviously, Six Nations just wanted play to end as quickly as possible.
But you can't just throw it straight out.
Can't just nuke the ball out of the arena. That's...
Well, some definite feeling in this game early. And Bomberry not happy about the delay game call. They'll still be on the power play, however, 4-on-3. But a lengthy delay here as they get this all sorted. I was just about to give Zach Hairwires a compliment, saying that he looks like he may be in the best shape that I've ever seen him be in. And that's something that I think has kind of hampered his NLL career for the last couple of years, is that they've wanted him to dedicate himself a little bit more. And it looks like he's finally taken that to heart and looks great.
Yeah, he looks phenomenal.
Quicker, leaner, faster, like all of it.
I mean, there's no denying he's always been able to score
Oh,
the
the talent is not in question.
There's been a few times where, you know, he's really looked dangerous because of not just his scoring ability, but his athletic ability, taking it to the net.
Fabulous college career. 4-on-3 down low here for Six Nations. Spin it around. Hill. And forget it, says Delbianco. Look out for Barker. Gets lit up at center. He'll be okay as Matt Beers powers down the middle. Barker usually the one that likes to deliver those type of hits. But he's just fine after taking a good clean one in the open floor. Now Beers double teams. As Cornwall will try and create late in the clock and just dumps it into the corner. So let's get it set here. Under 2 to go in this first period. 2-0 Ladner. It's a 4-on-3 Six Nations for the next minute or so, and then it'll be a 2-man advantage for a lengthy period of time. Another stop for Christian, who was in full gear and warming up a good hour before this contest over on the other rink. Goddard denied on the doorstep. There's Delbianco. And as Irving took a pretty stiff cross check there, got to get it across the line quickly. Pace knows it. For as good as he is stopping the ball and everything, like throwing the ball might be his best attribute.
It's insane. And it's not just, you know, the long bomb pass. Like, how accurate was that laser? And he had to change the trajectory of his stick. Yeah. It's like having an extra defender back there.
Smith right on, pad stop Delbianco. Loose ball picked up by Cornwall, and he can fly. But pretty good run back here for Smith. Cornwall still going, and Dusty Hill down on a knee makes the stop. Impressive. Like, I know how fast Jeff Cornwall. I didn't know Lane Smith was that fast.
Yeah, Lane Smith, it takes him a bit to get going, but when he gets going, he can really move. He's got sneaky athleticism.
Hill with a rocket. And that off a Pioneer body and out. Reset the 30 as Rivera creeping in. Skip feed. Delbianco. Post. Oh, how did he stop that? Clip it. And hopefully we get a replay at the end of the period of that Delbianco stop right there. He went from post to post, back to the other post, and got the shoulder up in time. That was incredible. Wow. Late in the period, and Ladner will just run out the clock. Wow. Quite the opening 20 between the Pioneers and Six Nations, and this might have been the best highlight of them all. Watch the recovery down on a knee and then back up off the helmet in time. Wow. The Phenom keeps it a 2-0 Pioneers lead here after the opening period. 10-minute break from Oakville, and we're back to the President's Cup on the JVI Sports Network in 10 minutes time. We're back inside the track in the province of Ontario, in the city of Oakville, where the President's Cup is happening, and we got to look at some of the rough stuff from period number 1.
Needless to say, these two teams don't play each other too often, but there's no love lost. And we just saw a lot of physicality kick up in the high gear. A lot of penalties, but a lot of clean plays as well.
This hit on Barker, one of the best. To get a look at this. Whammo.
Ooh.
And then things got a little hairy in the end of the period there. I had the Senior B commissioner, former teammate of mine in New Westminster, Joey Hiltz. You want to talk about pure goal scorers. JoJo was one of those guys. But he was trying to convince me there was no penalty for delay of game for throwing the ball straight out of play from your own side of center. I called him a liar, and I said, show me the rule in black and white, and then I'll believe you. Because the referee called it, and I believe it to be true. I've seen that penalty called many a time. So, sorry, Joey. I think you're wrong. Blow the whistle. Let's play some lacrosse, as it is 2-0 Ladner to start the period.
Unfortunately, our stat department is now our replay department as the lacrosse boss.
Get your rule book out over there, Carrot. Come on. Benesh denied on a shorthanded bid. And time ticking down in the first penalty time, which was a double minor to Keith, being served by somebody else because he took a 10-minute misconduct on top of that. And then Hairwires followed it up with another double minor for a back check as Zabo will get across center. Just 50 seconds left to go in the back half of that double for Hairwires now. As Cornwall will go for a run, and he'll give it to Tyler Pace, who apparently have the same fashion designer, Pat Gregoire. Black compressions, white socks, white shoes. Did that get in? Is that in? It's in. I couldn't tell whether that was on the outside of the net or in. Pace seemed to be the only guy that knew it. And finally the referee went over and went, maybe that is in, and sure enough, it's 3-0 Ladner.
Not the prettiest goal, but another electric call from the officials. We'll see it just go in. And
watch this.
See Pace saying, it's in. It's in.
Go look. Grab the net. You're right.
Boom.
That is a goal. Here's the highlight. Clip it. And Barker caught in the neutral zone trying to switch sides before the whistle. We'll give the ball here to Six Nations. Still, that's a shorty there for Pace. And just 15 seconds to go. And, you know, we talked about Six Nations, their goal-scoring issues here, and they need to capitalize on power plays. There's no question about that. And to let this opportunity slip by without any could be costly. And here's Del Bianco with Hairwires out of the box. Beers will send it on up. Zach Hairwires stopped by Hill. And then he stepped in the crease.
I know it's easier said than done scoring goals on Christian Del Bianco, but it's going to come really hard with 5-on-5. You're totally right. They need to capitalize on these power plays. They have far too much skill to be held to no goals right now.
Irving gets chopped down, maintains possession somehow. And then Doucette will scoop it up as McDermott almost gave it back. There's Danny McDermott now playing Senior B here. Coming up in through junior, one of the best checkers in the province. And there's a beauty from Benesh. 4-0 Pioneers.
Tic-tac-toe. Pace is going to take this down low. Big hard pick. And then it's just a beautifully fed ball right to the middle of the floor, and Benesh just needs to feather it right in over Hill's shoulder.
And we're going to get a goaltending change here as Dusty. I don't think you can put any of this on Dustin Hill, but Holochuk going to come into this game. And back to Ryan Benesh. He's one of those guys that likes to fiddle with his lacrosse stick a lot. Like if it's not perfectly tight on the sidewalls or a shooting string is a tad bit loose, he can tell. And he's always kind of tweaking and but he's that accurate of a shooter that he can tell when the ball is just not coming out the way he wants it to. And until it does, he'll keep dialing that thing in.
Well, we saw it took him almost actually it was more than 2 full periods for him to dial that stick in, and then he threw a casual hat trick in that 3rd period. That was his 6th goal of the tournament, up to 15 points now. Coming to this game, I know he's behind Triolo and Levi Anderson for the lead.
Quiet days for both of them earlier this morning, however.
And that's just averaging 7 points a game through the first 2.
That does not surprise me one bit.
No.
Here's Irving. Doucette hustling to the bench. Pioneers will bring out the offense. Now leading 4-0. And just about 3 minutes gone here in the second. One more game to come on day 3, and it's a good one. As Benesh on the tuck, won't get around Martin. Feeds to Tyler Pace with 6 on the shot clock. Pace will go for a drive. A reaching shot and a quality stop from Troy Holichuk as he enters the game.
One thing about Benesh, too, is the amount of loose balls he gets. It just seems like he goes always to the right spot. The ball just finds him.
Turner going to the front of the goal. Couldn't bring the ball along with him. The one, knock on Benesh over his years is he's not exactly a transition killer. A little slow back to the gate from time to time. And that's, kind of plagued him throughout his career. He's moved around a lot. Maybe a bit of a shelf life in certain markets. But for what he gives you offensively and team-wise, you kind of live with that side of the game from Benny.
You certainly do. And I'm not just saying this.
He's gotten better at it, I think, later in his career.
Just going to say, in Halifax, there's been a clear buy-in that he needs to be getting to the bench, and we're seeing that. Absolutely. Or not even, or go back and play some solid defense. He's done that as well.
And the other thing for Benesh is, we'll stay on bench for one more minute here, is that he didn't exactly dedicate himself physically early on in his career. Didn't really need to. But now later and a little longer in the tooth, he's started to put the work in the old swell station there, Pat.
Oh, yeah. You have to. When you want to play this long, you got to keep your body in tip-top shape.
Hair wires on a dance to the crease, denied. And Squire will give him one on the backside. And here's transition for Corbett. Corkscrew, and Delbianco right with him.
What a save from Delbianco. He's so
It
dialed.
almost looked like he knew where Corbett was going before he did.
Yeah, he's got beachfront real estate in these Six Nation shooters right now. He is in their heads.
Ray on a bounce as he got to the top of the crease. And that's one thing I'll say about Troy Holichuk coming in here for Six Nations. Some goaltenders cannot do it whatsoever, coming in a game when you don't start and play well. Holichuk very good at doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Rivermen looking for their first as Barker got a good chunk of Whitlow there. Now Goddard. Here to Lane Smith. He dropped it. He'll get it back. Reaching shot there, and Delbianco controls the rebound. Mike Mallory spent a long time with the Maple Ridge Burrards before making the move to Ladner. Phil Caputo opened the scoring here today. And there he is on a sub shot, and that one hit the pipe. As Dylan Lacroix gets the day off here on day 3 for the lefty offenseman for Ladner. Here's James Ray. Looks inside. Bromley over the top with it, and Holichuk no trouble. And now we got a penalty call coming here to Bromley. And he's going to take another for good measure. I tell you, Herbie might be my favorite official here.
He's an electric factory.
And he's not doing it to be the center of attention, but he's communicating with the players. He has some conviction in his calls, no question about it. And I don't know, Pat, as a player, I always appreciated the referees that would You know, they give you a little leash at the beginning, shorten it up, whatever it was, but they at least talk to you. They just didn't wave you away saying, like, go to. But he's explaining why he's making the call, and he's having a good time while he's doing it.
I always respect, even as a coach, being able to have the time to come over and have the official explain everything. It's much appreciated.
Good feed to Cornwall through the zone, and look at how fast Jeff Cornwall is. There's that group of guys that you want to line up on the end line and just have them race. And Cornwall would be in that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
There's guys that are quick laterally and then quick end to end. And Cornwall, when he gets those tree trunks moving, is just a blur.
Blistering speed.
Now give me, off the bench to the net, Dane Dobie all day, every day, but end to end, it's a different conversation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but a 20-yard dash from the bench to the net, there is nobody faster on the planet than Double D. Delbianco, another stop, and here goes Doucette off the top, launches up on the money to Doucette on a 170-foot rope.
That was an absolute dart from Delbs.
And now here's Claire. And he'll move to space. As off the bench comes Caputo. And Albanesh. Uh-oh. Look out. Corbett goes down on his own volition. And that tells me Achilles. Pat. Oh, man. When you see a guy go down like that on his own with nobody around him and just can't get back up, that tells me Achilles tendon, and this does not look good for Corbett.
He's in a lot of pain.
I'm not even gonna watch.
I'll
watch
it for you.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, just puts on the brakes and goes down. Doesn't look like he rolled his ankle or anything like that, but he's in a great world of pain
and
now.
I don't know what it is about the Achilles tendon now, but this, like, more so than ACLs or MCLs or anything. And maybe not as he gets up and he's walking here. So maybe not as bad as first expected. He's going to run.
Might have been a cramp, possibly, but it looks like he's okay. Thank
but back
goodness.
to it, though, like that injury in particular seems to have just kind of crept into the game of lacrosse. Like,
I don't.
So many guys rupturing Achilles lately.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the way guys are training now, and
I'd still like to see, and I don't know if it would make a difference, but there has not been a shoe company on the planet to design a lacrosse shoe, a lacrosse-specific, box lacrosse-specific shoe. And there's some good ones out there, don't get me wrong, but I would really like to see that.
Didn't the Warrior Burn, didn't they have a shoe way back in the day?
Well, maybe.
Obviously didn't last very long, but
somebody's looking to get rich out there. There's a $1 million idea for you. Look. That thing just missed the far corner from Tyler Pace.
Corbett getting some attention there, and hopefully it's okay because, it
did not look good, and now I don't know. We'll see if he gets back in this game or not. The Rivermen are trying to get back in this lacrosse game in general. I mean, they're not out of it by any means, down 4-0 here. But that won't do the trick, and almost need to change a light bulb here at the track after that one. As Beers will look for an open teammate and lollipop one here for Ryan Benesh. Now James Ray. Here's the guy I would like to see make a comeback to the National Lacrosse League. Just kind of look out here. For my liking, just kind of hung it up a little too early from the pro game. And still a lot of gas left in the tank for 72 in black.
He's certainly showing it here this week in Oakville. It's a big body, a tough check, plays well away from the ball. Great shot.
I'm trying to remember, what was he, like 6th overall?
It's definitely top 10. I think you're right.
Dial it back. Air wires. Gonna slip a couple of checks. He'll get dragged down by Martin. And another penalty call coming here, this time to Six Nations, as this will even things up. 4-on-4 once again. in what has been a physical affair here between the Pioneers and Rivermen.
Look here. The hold. Go 4-on-4.
And that's kind of really the deal with Ladner. And I would say you could probably put Oakville in that conversation as well, Pat, that they'll play any type of game that you want, well, these Ladner Pioneers, and they'll beat you up on the scoreboard. And if you want to play the other way, they'll punch you in the face as well.
Yeah, they can live in the mud. They'll drag you in the mud if they need to. They can play great out their back end in a shut-down roll or some transition. Any way you slice it,
Yeah.
they have that game.
And for Six Nations, I think a lot of tools and a lot of good things, but it's, again, we go back to it. They've just struggled to score goals here at the President's Cup so far. And this game, no exception. But there's one there from Wayne Hill with half a lacrosse game to go as Barker and Brock exchange shots. And now Rod Squire comes over. As you know, David Brock's not backing down from anybody. And are they just going to usher everybody to their bench, or are we going to get penalty calls?
You keep an eye there. We'll take a look. Hill just using that big frame of his. And
Good
again,
snipe.
oh,
Look at the chop there. Right to Irving's elbow. And then Irving went looking, but Barker already engaged. And keep an eye on 20 in black and 50 in white the rest of this one. Two guys not shy to get after it.
Wayne Hill, third goal of the tournament, up to 5 points now. And that shot there, that looked like he was going to sell it going left. Completely fooled Delbianco, which haven't been able to say too often.
4 minutes for Irving. 2 minutes for Brock. Martin already in there for $1.17. Bromley already in there for another 10 seconds. And every available slot on the scoreboard here at the track is lit up.
Scorekeeper definitely getting their money's worth.
And again, I don't want to harp on it, but I really feel like if this game just had two guys square off and fight, all this extra nonsense would go by the wayside. Bierce working over Smith.
It's a good battle between a couple of big bodies there.
Shot clock down to 6. And ball loose on the turf. Half a lacrosse game here to go. And Zach Hairwires will go to the goal. And Holichuk. An excellent stick stop there after Wayne Hill gets the Rivermen on the board. Important save there. And another penalty call coming here, this time to the Pioneers. They're going to need an extra score sheet down there by the end of this one. Here's Hill, scores! Two straight for Warren Hill. Excuse me, Wayne Hill.
See Hill get the ball here. This time doesn't need to use his big frame because his buddy Lane Smith's the one who sets the hard pick, comes across, beats Delbianco, and all of a sudden, Six Nations has life. They're down 2.
And I think I'm way off mark. It's not even a Hill. I think I've been calling Wayne Hill Denton Miller. It's 77 Denton Miller with the last two here for Six Nations. It's been 77, right?
The last one definitely was.
Double check my facts. My apologies.
You're right.
Yeah.
Denton Miller, though.
My bad, people. Surprised my phone's not blowing up right there. Probably is. I'm not going to look at it. Regardless, Six Nations have the last 2 goals, and they are within 2 here in a penalty-filled game against the Ladner Pioneers. As we go back to center, 4-2, 9 to go in the second, and still a lot of penalty time up on the board here. Irving with 3 minutes, Martin with 17 seconds, Brock with 1 minute. So after that, it's actually now a 4-on-3 power play here for Ladner. Call me out if I'm wrong, Pat. I think I was. I think we were calling Denton Miller, Wayne Hill. Here comes a chance maybe for Martin, but not with Benesh on the back check as he intercepts. Comes back in 4-on-2, and he was shooting all the way, and Holochuk knew it. Now 4-on-4 we play for about 20 seconds. And then Six Nations will have the man advantage as Hairwires look far side. Holochuk will stretch out. We'll get an interference call here on the Rivermen.
Kudos to Steven Stamp. Just shot me a text. James Ray, 11th overall back in 2016.
Thank you very much.
That was back when the 11th overall pick was in the second round. Much, much different nowadays, isn't it?
Don't get me started on the compensatory picks, Pat. I don't want to go down that road right here at the President's Cup. Time to go away with that. All right. Into the back half of the double minor for Irving. So now it's a 5-on-4 here as Brock released. And Pace lost the ball on the way to the goal.
Well, talking about
That's a
Steven
power play goal here for Six
Yeah, I
Nations.
know.
We got a 1-goal game, Pat.
On that note, with Steven Stamp, head to the website for the President's Cup. He's got a game day recap. Really good read. Breaks down all the games, highlights some key players, some good stories as well.
All right.
You got some reading to do tonight.
Well, I was going to say, not right now. Whoa, off the post there. Wesley Whitlow almost got it to go.
I think Whitlow's a guy. I know he's only played the one game so far. This is his second. He's a guy that I think Six Nations needs to lean on here to get some offense going.
Definitely some talent in that stick. Rivera. There's the big pump from Smith, and Del Bianco will pop up like a pogo stick to make that stop. New 30 here for the Rivermen. Here he is again. Miller. Going right this time as he'll peel out of the corner. Whitlow right back to him. Load it. Fire. Del Bianco the stop. Smith the loose ball. Still 40 seconds to work with here in the power play. Flip it, Rivera, fake it, drive it, pass off Smith, and Del Bianco, man, is he fast post to post. Barker will scoop and go. He just recovers so quickly as the ball moves around. I mean, I don't think there's been a goaltender, I want to say, since like Dallas Elliott that can move that quickly.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the athleticism is just off the charts.
G. Nash, maybe. Hairwires from a bad angle. As the penalty time to Irving will expire. Hartley, another guy, pretty quick.
Seen some circus saves from that guy in between the pipes.
Be back with the Nighthawks. He played with Snake Island last year in Alberta. Cornwall will scoop it up at center here. He's got a man off the bench in Benesh. And he's denied by Holochuk, who has come in and shut the door since doing so. And now down to 5.5 here to go in period 2. And just a 4-2 lead here for Ladner.
Penalties, the 4-on-4 play, all that kind of.
I mean, this might be playing right into Six Nations' hands to muck it up and have a penalty-filled game, a special teams battle here, and keep this thing as low scoring as possible. And so far, so good. I think if you would have asked the Rivermen at the 5-minute mark to go in the second period, if you could be down 2 here to Ladner and give yourself a chance, they would take that. I would.
100%. Especially the way that first period went.
And again, we go back to it. This Rivermen team, obviously, I mean, here at the Prezi, year after year after year, they know how to get the job done and go deep into the tournament. Caputo can't get it over Holochuk.
Good news. Patrick Corbett back out on the turf, but he's not running as fast as we normally see him.
Not exactly running effortlessly. Here's a chance, and that's called in the crease. As if you're going to go to the dirty areas on the floor in this game, you are going to pay a price.
Especially against this defense, man. They're mean.
Both, I'm talking. Like, you got to have some courage to get inside that dotted circle in this one.
Just look at the big bodies on both sides, man.
Good check there from Sherman Williams. But Keith will get another look. And Holochuk will get another stop. This is Jake Kranz, excuse me. That's Oakley Thomas in 15. And they'll stay out for a shift of offense here. As Rivera got a pick and a little too much on that one for Elijah Brown. Doucette will bounce it through and take one off the pads as Cornwall on the wrong side of the floor will find his man high in James Ray. Ray on the twirl. And then he had it checked free. Marcus Elvin will finish the job, but a little too much on that as well. He is a nasty piece of business on the defensive end.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Caputo. Benesh. Oh, Holochuk looking behind him. He kept it on the right side, however. Ladner pressing for their 5th of the game here. Turner. High feed. Nice handle from Ray. Hits Benesh through the middle. It goes all the way through to Turner. And a weak shot there from Alex Turner, easily stopped by Holochuk. Here's Justin Martin, who's been quiet in transition so far. As Williams will send it across. Whitlow will send it towards the goal. Delbianco will give up a rebound, and the Rivermen will get a new 30. Mason Hill out. Goddard had his shot blocked. Gets his own ball back. Fires again. That one blocked too, this time by Matt Beers.
It's a couple of blocks from Beers.
Those gloves still throwing me off. I get it, though. You guys get the mitts. They get comfortable. Here's Keith. Stars, the captain. Gets it to go, I believe, his first of the tournament for Big Boy. And it's 5-2 Pioneers.
Mr. Pioneer himself showing off why. Oh, that is mightily close. I think he gets it off just in time, though. We'll get a look here.
Excellent work from our production crew, and I don't know.
Oh, boy.
It's going to count. It might not have, or shouldn't have, but it will. And shots just about dead even here, too. 34 for Ladner, 33 for Six Nations. But the lead back up to 3 now for the BC Champs. And a face-off win for Six Nations. Kaminga. Move it. One more. Driving. Gets hammered by Mike Mallory, and that one stung Dalton Silver. Did I tell you, you better have some courage going inside the dotted circle? I don't know if we can get a run back on that hit from Mallory. He clocked him.
It comes right here.
Slide help. And Silver going down, and he was probably lucky to get down as quick as he did.
Yeah, I think that's like a knee right to the ribs.
He's not relaxing there, folks. Let me tell you. Looks like he's kind of laid out on a beach right now, but he is in some pain.
Silver, he's a tough customer. Unique, interesting story for him. He's, from Texas. Comes up, falls in love with the box lacrosse game, gives that a go, ends up getting picked up by the Buffalo Bandits.
Okay, so they're telling. I got a guy here on Twitter. I'm not going to shut him out or anything because I don't know if he wants me to, but saying that New Balance makes a box-specific shoe, and captain of the Senior B Nanaimo Timbermen, my guy, Dipper, Johnny Diplock sporting those things. I need a picture of those. If you're listening, Dipper, send me a picture of your box-specific New Balance shoes.
Yes,
I want to see those.
I know the exact ones he's talking about.
Okay.
A lot of guys in the NLL will wear them. Yeah, Silver, he went to High Point, gives the box cross game a go, and now he's, absolutely fallen in love with it.
It's funny. Well, it's not really funny. I mean, but how some guys just have never played it, and all of a sudden they play it, and they're like, I don't even want to play field lacrosse. I just want to play box.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Rivera out of the corner. There's Smith back to Rivera. The pass sailed out of his pocket and ends up with Del Bianco, who launches ahead here to Matt Beers. Off comes Benesh. He'll shoot it, and he'll miss the far corner by about 6 inches. So he didn't really bear down on that shot like he normally does. Rivermen trying to get back within 2 here late in the period. And there's one as Del Bianco looking behind him did well enough. Now he looks to the Pioneer bench again. Benesh comes off. He's got Jensen going to the goal. Here's Jensen, kicked away by Holochuk. And maybe his best stop of the period. Keeps
feed.
it a 3-goal game.
What a feed from Del Bianco, though.
He is an instant transition starter. And I don't know how many times Six Nations needed to call timeout, but they finally get it. 32 on the game clock. I think they're going to be around 18 seconds on the shot, however.
Yeah, they're not pleased they didn't get that earlier. Danton Miller emphatically showing they called timeout.
Somebody just asking me where the official hurt. I forget his last name already, Pat, but where, do you know what? I think he came out of the Can-Am League, did Herbie.
Herbie, I believe you're correct. He's with Can-Am, Tom Moxham, the Three Nations League.
So timeout Six Nations, but too much differential between shot clock and game clock here to pull Holochuk. Add in the long change here in the second period, and they'll just play it straight up 5-on-5, and I think they'll have about 18 seconds to work with. So Ladner, expect them to call the timeout if they can come up with a stop. And now Holochuk going to come back to the Six Nations bench here as they roll the dice. This cannot be right. I think they'll probably send a guy right back to the bench and put Holochuk back in. At least I think they should. And they're going to go 6-on-5 here. And there's 10 seconds on the shot clock, 25 on the game clock. And they're still, look out here. Holochuk trying to get back. This should maybe be a delay of game. Holochuk back now. And does Ladner want timeout? Yes, they do. That was playing with fire right there for the River.
Stu Montour understands they need a goal desperately, was willing to take that risk. Because Elijah Brown was, I don't even know if he necessarily even got into the play. I think he was just there as a safety. More of a decoy, perhaps.
Holochuk and Hairwires exchanging a few pleasantries and looking pretty friendly down there on that last sequence. But now the Rivermen will have to try and get one more stop here before the end of the period with 14 seconds left in it. As don't forget, coming up later tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time start. As Benesh goes to work on his stick a little bit. Oakville 2-1 after winning their last 2 games. Will take on Snake Island, who have won one, lost one, then they won another. Also 2-1. We'll play at 8 o'clock here tonight. Looking forward to Muskies and Rock.
It's going to be a great game.
Here we go. Final 10 seconds. Count it down with me, won't you? 8, 7, 6, 5. Pace off to Benesh. One more, and that play will die right there. There's again another extra chop at the end of the whistle. Ray will come in quickly. And everybody locked up here at the end of the period. Man, I love the President's Cup, Pat Gregoire. Emotion everywhere down on the turf.
No love lost.
We will take a break here from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. And be back with third period action here for Game 3, Day 3. Third period is on deck with Ladner leading by 3 over the Six Nations Rivermen. 10-minute break, and we're back to the JVI Sports Network right after this. 40 minutes down and 20 to go here in this third game of day number 3. Jake Elliott, Pat Gregoire with you for it. And Ladner looking to keep their record perfect. With a 3-goal lead with 20 minutes to play, they lead the Rivermen of Six Nations 5-2. Shots on goal pretty tight, 35-34 Ladner. As we bring you back to center floor here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in Oakville. And set to go for the opening face-off of the final frame. Oakville and Snake Island come up after this one. Blow the whistle. Let's play some lacrosse. And Ladner will have the opening possession as we start the period 5-on-5. Over-under on how long that lasts, Pat Gregoire. Rough and tumble here in this one. You going to put a number on it? I'll say 3.5 minutes before we get a penalty.
Okay, I'll say...
over or under?
I'm going to go over.
Okay. I think you're wrong. Yeah. Lacrosse boss is going under. Chance there off the elbow of Del Bianco, who makes his first save of the period. Appreciate everybody who's chiming in, whether it be via social media or blowing up my phone. Keep it coming. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find Pat Gregoire at PGreggy, and yours truly at PXP, the number 4 Sports. PXP for Sports is where you can get at me. Had lots of new follows and interactions so far this week at the Prezi, and that's what it's all about, Pat. I love to hear from the peoples watching the games.
Yeah, it's awesome. Keep the comments coming. I know the YouTube chat is buzzing. That can be a little bit of a dumpster fire from time to time.
I try to stay away from the live chat, especially while I'm doing the game. It can be a bit of a cesspool.
No, tonight it's all positive vibes only. It's great.
Thanks for tuning in here to the JVI Sports Network. Pace to Ray. 5 on the clock for Turner. Got to let it go. Oh, flipped it down low for Hairwire. Look out. That one almost came over the crossbar and hit Holochuk, who was not in a good spot if it did. And what do we got here? Timeout, says the official. And Herbie wants a word with the penalty box. Had one DM come in saying the refs wear a certain type of New Balance. I said they don't count. I'm not. They can run barefoot out there if they want for the officials. We're talking players cutting, moving, jumping, diving, all that sort of stuff. You got to have the good footwear. Refs, you're just going up and down. You don't need the snow tires on. Now, what do we got here? Maybe some equipment issue with Holochuk and his mask, potentially. No, he's holding his mask in his hand, so I don't know what is going on here. And unfortunately, we can't even hear the whispers over there across the floor like we normally can. And maybe a jersey issue, somebody wearing a wrong jersey number. Oh, they're going to call Del Bianco on his gear, and a big old smile on Del Bianco. Out of all the goalies in all of lacrosse, this is the last guy I would be calling on gear. Because I think he's pretty staunch. Like, he's a stickler for it. He doesn't like other goalies that push the envelope, and I think Del Bianco, he keeps his stuff pretty tight here, but he's going to get checked. As both officials will head for the locker room with one of the captains, who will be Matt Beers. And Del Bianco looking pretty confident that he's good, but a Rivermen representative will go with him in Rod Squire. And brings up the old debate here, Pat Gregoire, whether you call things like this in a game like this, in a sport like this. Where do you come out on calling goalie gear or illegal pads or jewelry or whatever it may be in a President's Cup or just in a game in general?
I to be honest, I hate it. I really don't like it.
I'm on the flip side of things because I feel like as a coach, if you're not doing everything in your power to try and win a game and help your team win, then are you really doing the job to your best ability? And add on to that, if you're a player or a goaltender that is pushing the envelope with a too big of a stick or flaring your pads, it's essentially cheating. So, where do you draw the line on whether your jersey's a wingsuit and you're gobbling up balls that are... So, my thing is, like, call it, don't call it. Don't cheat or cheat, but don't get pissed off if you're cheating and you get caught.
That's the thing. I don't think you have no leg to stand on if you are pushing the envelope and
you may not like it, but if you're not cheating, then you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be your team that gets the power play at the end of it anyways.
Exactly.
So I know people don't like it and they think it's bad sportsmanship. Well, I think
cheating is also bad sportsmanship. So yeah, I'm not saying. Put it this way: I'm saying that the challenge. I don't like that, but I'm not also saying like I want my goalies to be.
But for Six Nations' perspective here, they're down 3 goals in the third period.
Yeah,
they haven't been able to score. Their tournament life essentially on the line, and they feel like, hey, this might be our only chance to get Del Bianco out of the game or get a power play here and give us a chance to come back. So why not? So we will just wait and see as they take Del Bianco into the referee's room. They'll get the calipers out. We can fill here, Rachel. I appreciate the offer, but this is what we're paid to do. And we'll just see. Beer's in there, Squire in there, both officials along with Del Bianco. And the thing is here, if you're going to call the goaltender, you have a certain amount of things that you have the ability to call, but you have to pick one, right? Whether it's his stick being too big, his leg pads too wide, his shoulder pads being too large up top, whatever the case is, you have to select one thing and make the call saying this is what we want, and then you have to live with it. If it's called, Del Bianco could potentially be out of this game, and the Rivermen could get a power play. If he's legal, it'll be the Rivermen that go shorthanded. And Ladner already bringing out the offense. And Del Bianco back onto the turf. And I knew it. If there's one goalie in the sport that's not going to be illegal, it's that guy right there. And he knew it walking off the turf as well.
Oh, he had the biggest smile in the building. And he actually was pointing at me, of all people, me? Come on.
He's been pretty vocal online about it, and goalies pushing the envelope and all the rest of it. And personally, I don't think he is a fan of other teams calling other goalies on it, but he's also not a fan of other goalies who cheat.
Right.
So there you go.
I think that's where I stand on it.
No, I'm still not sure where you stand on that. You were pretty flip-floppy there, I must say.
So I don't like when as a coach, I'm not using that in my holster.
Never?
Never say never. Never say never. But I also understand why you would use it in that type. And if the only thing is, it didn't work.
No. And it may backfire now because here comes the power play for the Ladner Pioneers.
You got to be really certain that the goalie's
and I
cheating.
just like again, of all the goalies you want to try and call that on, that's the wrong guy to do it.
You better hope your goalie's good to go as well, too.
But it won't be the last time that, I'll probably hear this week even, that a team tries to make a call like that. And I totally get why Six Nations did it. It just didn't work. But I don't mind it. And if you're not cheating, then it's okay. Like, you got nothing to worry about. And it actually turns out to be a good thing because you end up getting the power play. So there you go. Haven't been on the soapbox yet this week, Penny. I think we're off it now. And Ladner still with a minute to work with here, leading by 3. Pace to Ray, stepping in. Here's Benesh down to the crease. Caputo, 8 on the shot clock. Back to Ray. 1 more to Pace. Fake it, take it, and whistle it high. 1 more chance, and Ray missed the target as well. And that's one where James Ray, late in the clock, just needs to test the goaltender. If you don't score, you at least get the reset.
Yep.
So Six Nations still shorthanded for 35 seconds, but do have possession. As Lane Smith will pick it up. As Jensen got his stick up. Down to 8 on the shot clock here, and Six Nations, I think, just happy to try and kill off as much time as they can and leave Ladner with as little as they can for maybe one more look on the 5-on-4. share your thoughts with us at P. Greggy, at PXB for Sports. Where do you come out on? James Ray. Hair wires inside. Caputo on a set play. And then look out. Six Nations had too many men on the floor as Dan Miller was heading up floor. They shot a man out the back gate, and neither official saw it. And that was almost another, well, should have been. But they got away with it. And they get away without surrendering a power play goal to Ladner and remain down just 3 here. Problem is, number 97 still between the pipes.
Yeah.
Here's Smith. Sheds one check, and now we're going to get a penalty here for a high stick on Jacob Doucette. So opportunity now for Six Nations. After killing one off, will go to a power play of their own. And try and claw back in this game, just down 3. I know it's only a 3-goal lead, but it feels bigger because of this low-scoring affair.
Well, when you factor in the fact that Six Nations has struggled to find the back of the net, and you also put into play that Delbianco is absolutely dialed right now and one of the best goalies on the planet, it's just not a recipe for a big comeback.
The under. Pass. The under. The under on the penalty bet came home. And it was a bit of an odd one on a goalie check.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts.
Tell the bookmakers, it counts. You know it does.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I actually read that wrong to begin with. I thought it said Thunder on penalty bet wins, and I was like, Thunder on penalty bet wins? The under, not Thunder. Delbianco in tight, makes a stop, and he'll look to outlet here.
Not fooled on any of those fakes.
Bench side to Mallory and across the center line in time. Claire. Bounce one through. Will he make his return to the National Lacrosse League this season? After having a good rookie campaign at Vancouver, then picked up by Panther City, but unable to play. Fatherhood getting in the way. Pat Gregoire. And I think a brand new one on the way for Claire as well, so maybe not this year. As we have an injured Pioneer on the play now.
There's a way to get him back in Vancouver, man. Would he not look good on that back end?
Yeah, I've been kind of pushing for that a little bit behind the scenes, Patty, but I don't know. And Ladner hot about something at the Pioneer bench right now as Brock clamps down on Bromley. Here comes a chance for Six Nations. Right in there, and Delbianco stares him down. Good run for Jake Kranz, but couldn't beat Delbianco. In this tight battle here, 5-2. Did not really see this scoreline coming. And still 14-plus minutes to go. And anything can happen at the President's Cup. Ray tried to flip one to Cornwall. And Cornwall just had his stick snapped in half with a slash from Marcus Elvin. Just busted it in two.
Elvin not making any friends in this tournament, man. He is a thorn in other teams' side.
Pass to the crease. Here's Rivera. And Delbianco, he's got Barker on the fly pattern. He'll bring it in. Maybe a chance for Owen Barker. And he can't look out. Barker hard into the end wall as Hairwires tried to pick that one up. And back we come here with Corbett. He'll be, that's a penalty on Hairwires now. And he's got to know better than that. From behind, Brock powering to the goal, hit the crossbar, and bodies are dropping all over the place here at the truck.
That's another penalty on Hairwires on Corbett for that wrap. Corbett's having a rough go between getting hauled down a couple times, getting hurt. But he's been working hard. He's been a really nice player on the back end for the Six Nations team in this game. A reason why they've been able to hold this high-powered Pioneers team to just 5 goals.
Okay, so Rivermen go to the man advantage now. Hairwire's in the box for 2 or less. And a chance to get within 2 here with a power play marker. Fired. Smith denied, and the rebound right back to him, wide of the goal. Whitlow, skip feed. No looker. Whitlow, pump it, and Delbianco will stop it. Rebound right back to Whitlow. Here's another shot. And Dalton Silver back out there after going down with an injury earlier in the game. This time, Claire with a stick in the lane will knock that one away. And now he'll go down in the corner, lose the ball, shovel it ahead. Mallory's got to get it across the line, and he'll just launch it. Look out as that one all the way down the floor on Holochuk. Imagine if that one slipped by. That thing was moving.
We talked about, those Swiss Army knife players. How about Dalton Silver? Goes out the back end, plays more of a transition role, but then he's up on top of your power play. Not many guys can do that.
Chance here on the crease. Rivera missed it. Mallory's got it. He'll make the turn. He'll find Cornwall. Beers through the middle. And it's still Cornwall. He will go for a run.
That guy's motor just does not stop.
It's crazy. Benesh with 10 on the shot clock. Double team comes. Benesh into a corner. Now he's going to try and slip inside. He'll go down. Shot clock will go down to 0. And Six Nations with 15 seconds left to go. We'll try and get to work quickly here. Miller wants it. He's got it. Now Whitlow. Shooting, and Delbianco tracked it well as he threw up a shoulder and stopped that one, and outlets to Claire at center quickly. Sam Claire. Back it comes as the penalty over, so you're more than welcome to come back across center.
Smart play.
And now Hairwire's fresh out of the penalty box. Here he is. Little spin move. Hairwires. And Holochuk. I'm trying to think how many he's allowed since coming in. 1? I think it was 4-0 when Dusty Hill was pulled. As Ladner jumped out to the lead.
Yeah, you're right. It has been impressive stuff.
Shot there. And it goes. Elijah Brown pulls the Rivermen within 2. Look out, 10.5 to play. And Rivermen right there with the Pioneers.
Elijah Brown just throws on a little stutter. Goes to the wrong side of the floor, but when you can shoot the rock like that, it doesn't matter.
What was that? You shoot the rock like what was that one?
When you can shoot like that, it doesn't matter where you're shooting from.
Water break here for the goaltenders at the midway mark of the period.
Much deserved water break. These two goalies have been phenomenal.
Well. I would dare say the next goal in this one, a biggie.
Not a small one, Jumbo.
Six Nations, I know they're down 5-3 in this game, but I think this has got to be their best effort of the week here so far. And I'm including their win over Oakville.
Tough to argue.
Sulvert off the helmet of Delbianco, who was down early. And still made the stop. But trying to keep momentum on their side here with another possession. And Ladner in the fight here. Here's Miller. Tucking, shooting, big rebound. And ball loose here for Whitlow as he had it clamped free. Cornwall will back heel it into his own crease for Delbianco. Ooh, heavy chop there from Whitlow. No arm up in the air. There was absolutely no intent to go for the ball on that. Benesh down to the crease. Look high. Ray off the shoulder of Holochuk. Lead feed. And Martin in behind everybody. Couldn't bring in the pass. And he is real good at that anticipation on when to take off. And a better ball there, and he's in home.
He's been almost automatic on breakaways.
18 on the clock for Benesh. Now Tyler Pace. Who's going to step up here for Ladner? Is it James Ray off the arm of Holochuk and then off the post? And it remains 5-3. Benesh, he had his stick chopped hard. Ray overran a loose ball. Pace will try and dig it up, and he will. Benesh with room at the top, and that shot blocked in tight. Now Ray, here's Benesh, loading, faking, shooting, no! And how good is Ryan Benesh?
You said who's going to step up for the Pioneers here. We should have known it would have been Ryan Benesh. Look at this. Look at all the effort. That Six Nations defense. Look at the coverage. But it's not enough. Shoots that through 3 white jerseys, including the goalie.
I gotta say, you don't see Benesh celebrate goals very emphatically at all. And then, so you had the big old pumpernickel fist pump there. And then the swag walk back to the bench as he stared down the Six Nations bench. And you do not see that from Ryan Benesh very often, which tells you that's a big goal right there for the Pioneers.
Huge goal. There's still a big fire burning in his belly.
8:35 to play in the third. As Irving knocked down inside, and he tries to regain his composure.
I still can't get over that release.
You do not want to take a penalty at this juncture. That'll be interference here on Six Nations. Is it just a possession call or is it a penalty? I think just possession here for Ladner. As somebody got their money's worth on Matt Beers. As you don't see Beers stay down very often, and he gets up holding his chiclets.
We'll get a look right here, Jumbo. That was Mason Kaminga.
And now the crowd below us starts to get involved into this game. Displeased with the officiating on one side of the ledger or the other. It'll be Ladner ball. Six Nations wants a 5-on-5 face-off here. But that's not why they blew the play down for the injury. It was already a possession call and a moving pick. So this is the right call, although Beers was in fact given a bit of a reprieve. As Benesh gets a play blown in and goes for the empty net with Holochuk on the bench. I mean, that's smart. And Benesh, I mean, for what he just did on his last goal, and then he misses the empty net from center. How do you go figure? And Ladner now will start the possession. What would they have done if that ball went in the net?
I don't even want to know.
This game has had it all.
Yeah.
Here's Pace.
Someone tell this game to call an Uber. It's time to go home.
Here's Benesh. Oh, off the post, off of Holochuk and stayed out. You can't get any closer to a goal than that right there. 6-3, excuse me. Brock over the top, missed it.
That did not miss by much.
I do not have enough eyeballs in my skull to be watching everything right now. 10 on the shot clock for Rivera. Being watched there by Cornwall. Out wide now. As delivering an elbow to Jensen offensively was Lane Smith.
Lane Smith has mastered the truck stick. That is absolutely for sure.
James Ray will run away from pressure. A little pick there from Bromley. Caputo on with speed. Pace hangs out at the half wall. He'll stump up. 8 on the clock. Bromley into the middle. Squirming in. Gets a shot off, and he put it wide on the bounce. As Silver will turn up floor. As we head into the final 7 minutes, potentially, of this one. And I should say not potentially, because there are ties in the President's Cup in the round robin. Zabo on a beautiful flip ahead here to Doucette with 1 to beat. And the message from the Pioneer bench is hold up as they lead by 3. Keith. Hair wires. Swims. And he'll find a man in the middle, and James Ray, and he can't get a shot off cleanly. And here goes Martin off the top again for Six Nations. Hustling on is Lane Smith. Drop it back to Elijah Brown. And that one went high and wide, and the rebound comes off the window. And a battle for the loose ball, one-handed by Jeff Cornwall. And back on comes the offense for Ladner with Alex Turner. This has been a wild one on day 3. And we're not done yet. Pick from Clare, and he got a good chunk of his man with a cross-check. Turner looking 5-hole. Here's Rivera breaking away. Barker will recover. Rivera will try his luck, and Del Bianco will shut the door. And then Beers with a little extra at the end of that play. This will give another possession here to the Rivermen. Every single person is finishing their check and then some in this game. Not for the faint of heart here at the President's Cup. Ball picked off by Beers. He'll lob ahead here. Doucette trying to run under it with an empty net, and he'll score. What a ball from Matt Beers, who put it on an arc and allowed Doucette to run underneath it.
We'll get a great look right here. Not only is it a great ball, but he runs to save space on a one bouncer.
You cannot pass a ball any better than that.
No.
That was Jim Veltman to Steve Toll in the Rocks hating.
Yeah. Perfect bounce right off the turf. Beers has used those hands for mashing faces or hacking and whacking. Shows off that he's got a heck of a lot of skill to his game, too.
I don't know if at some point we can get a shot at the end zone here of the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, as you got 3 NLL GMs in Steve Dietrich, Jamie Dowick, and Derek Keenan all sitting together watching this one. And you want to talk about some powerful dudes in the National Lacrosse League. There's a trio right there.
Love to be a fly on the wall in that luxury suite.
And as hard as they all compete against each other, they're all very friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Away from the game. And what a nice luxury it is for all these guys. You know, I saw Corey Small come in for a little treatment after a knee procedure for him, and guys who just been lingering around. Suits was here, Rusty Kruger, of course. Just to be able to just come and hang out at the track. There's always something going on. There's always somebody here.
Saw Latrell Harris was buzzing around here earlier, too.
4 to play here in this one. Ladner by 4. Empty net once again for the Rivermen as Rivera, go for it, Del Bianco. He thought about it. He'll outlet to Mallory. He's going to have a look at the empty net, and he'll score. The lead up to 5, and you wonder how much longer Six Nations will continue to pull their goaltender.
Rivera, a great chance there.
I thought Delbs was going to load one up for the empty net.
I thought so too, but again, the smart move, get it to Mallory.
Assist just as good as a goal. But it's pretty cool when the goalie scores.
I think he's got one in him this tournament.
Could happen. Back to center we go.
It's his 3rd assist of this tournament.
Oh, look out. Brock just jumped on the back of Clare. I don't think David Brock has an off switch. It is full-blown compete mode from the opening whistle. 37 years old for David Brock here at the President's Cup.
He only knows one speed.
Pace from distance, just hit a body. Six Nations now out shooting Ladner 48-44, but they're stuck 5, and under 3 we go. Oakville and Snake Island to wrap up day 3 next. McDermott on a lead feed. Doucette will shovel on ahead here to Jensen.
Well, closeout defense there from Clare and Irving. Whitlow was all alone, but boom, right away, 2 black jerseys just gobble them right up.
And now it's a glorified game of keep away. And Six Nations just won that game. But they're losing the game that matters, and that's on the scoreboard here as a late reset on the shot clock. Play on. And it's back to work they go offensively as they keep Holochuk in the goal now down 5. And Mallory up with the loose ball. And you can tell the frustration on the faces of the Rivermen, knowing they are about to go to 1-3 and their chances of making the top 4 just diminished significantly. Ladner will keep it perfect here and move to 3-0. Still remaining on their schedule, Tuscarora and Oakville tomorrow as they will play 2. And then the final day will see them play Snake Island. Six Nations, just 2 games remain. Kahnawake and Tuscarora left on their schedule. Rod Squire. Could this be his last President's Cup? This is Denton Miller. Can't get around his man. And Owen Barker has the ball. And I think the temperature has come down just a little bit here in the final 5 minutes. Little 4-corner drill here, Patty. Keep it wide.
Yeah, they're just going to let this tick down and get rid of it.
A little long bowling. Well, the picture starts to get a little clearer with each game, as we said. And Ladner working their way up. Six Nations moving their way down. The clock is under 30. We will be less than an hour away from a great matchup to round out day 3. As both teams 2-1 are the Muskies and Rock. Maybe one more here for Cornwall, not going to try.
You got to give it to Winter Rivera, 18 years old, junior B call-up, and he's given it all to the very end.
He's played a heck of a tournament. But the defending champions remain perfect here at the President's Cup in Oakville, as they win this one by 5 over the Ontario runners-up in the Six Nation Rivermen. Your final shots on goal, 48-44. Your final score is 8-3. And players of the game to come after handshakes. I will ask for your predictions, Pat Gregoire.
I'm going to go Christian Delbianco for Ladner.
45 saves on 48 shots for the Phenom. You could easily probably give it to Holochuk as well.
I think you have to give it to Holochuk. He's the main reason why.
You're not giving it to an offensive guy with 3 goals on the board.
No. Maybe David Brock or Patrick Corbett for their defensive
Miller,
play.
I think he had those two quick ones, right?
Yeah.
But I think the goaltenders deserve a couple of bucket hats.
I tend to agree. I think Holochuk coming into this game
and quite
cold.
Quite frankly, Pat, I think the broadcasters deserve a couple of bar down lats bucket hats as well.
I could be into that. Yeah. I think I could.
I'll take a picture.
Fit one of those on my melon.
Yes. Extra large, please. So handshake's just about done. They'll line it up here as Corbett and Hairwires exchange a pleasantry after, I think it was those two that got kind of tangled up with the Corbett injury. He looks to be okay, and that's good news for him and the Rivermen, as Ladner seems to get through clean as well. In what was a man's game here between the Pioneers and Rivermen today. And that's why you love the President's Cup, Patty.
It's the best.
There is no other lacrosse on the planet like it. And you wouldn't want it any other way. Frank Lawrence to present the players of the game. Got the matching shirt. And it is, in fact, Dan Miller. As the goalie union is going to be some kind of upset, Penny. Like
Don't get
I
them
feel
going
like
up.
they're being disrespected here at the present.
I think so too. They felt they were disrespected at the Minto, and I tend to agree with Deacon Knott. Well, they got one.
As Boychuk almost tried to go steal the bucket hat from Del Bianco and his legal equipment. And I'll get a picture with both of those guys as we will wrap up Game 3 on Day 3. One more game to come here from Oakville. Snake Island Muskies, Oakville Rock come up at 8 o'clock Eastern. You don't want to miss that one. And you can watch it right here on YouTube, free of charge on the JVI Sports Network. For our entire production crew here at JVI, for Pat Gregoire, I've been Jay Kelly, and for the fastest game on 2 feet, for the creator, we'll talk to you in less than an hour for Muskies and Rock here at the Prezi.
We want to thank our partners for their support of the 2023 President's Cup. Bar Down, Ice River Green Bottle Company, Gatorade, Big Chief Meat Snacks, and the Oakville Pump and Patio. Thank you for your support and helping all the competing teams as they chase the Prezi.